Alright, what to do guys, it's your boy Showtime Satch, and today we are back with another episode of Satch Mode Chess, and in this one, I like to say this game was very, romantic style, and that's a great word you like to use when you play a bad game, have a lot of blunders, but honestly, I've been watching a lot of the Paul Morphy saga from Mr. Agenmator. I'm sure you guys know who that is, one of the best chess tubers, around, and, I was inspired, and it seemed like my opponent was inspired too. It just came to fruition. It was a very interesting game, pretty funny, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So my opponent in today's match is an opponent from the Philippines. His name is Miserable. I'm not sure, maybe that means something in Portuguese, but here we are. So Satchmo Life with the white pieces, as always, and we go e4. I can count on one hand how many times I've played a move that wasn't e4 in the first move. Best by test. Haven't really got antiquated with the c4, the d4. So we just start with e4, very strong move. And my opponent plays d5, the Scandinavian defense. And honestly, I have a very fun trap I like to play if my opponent goes for this situation. So typically, you'd get pawn takes, queen takes. We get knight out. All right, so my computer is a little slow. You guys know this. We get queen a5 and then b4. Now, anytime I go against a typical Scandinavian defense, this is what I like to play. This is a pawn sacrifice, however, it is more than justified once you get queen takes. Rook comes into the comes alive here in the game. Let's see, here we go. There we go. So you get the rook in. You get a lot of nice development. Typically, the queen will, go somewhere like if it goes a5, which is the most typical move. You can even play rook b5, and it looks trapped. It's not. Your opponent has queen a6, and there's not really any good discoveries with this bishop. So typically don't play that rook move, but, if your opponent plays something lazy like bishop f5 after you make a simple developing move, it can turn very nice for you. As you see, this is an even game. But I digress. That's just a fun little trap against Scandinavian if you guys are having trouble with it. However, my opponent in this game plays, a move, which is bishop f5. Can't say I've ever seen this move before, but, sacrificing the pawn here. Obviously, you can still recapture. And in this position, you try and hang on to the pawn. Typically, if they don't capture, it's almost always they play knight f6. However, okay, my opponent is valuing development over the pawn. Not something crazy, and I say, okay, I'll defend this pawn. Normally, I try not to defend the pawn. If they were to play something like knight f6, I really don't have deep Scandinavian theory, so I would just push d4 and then knight f3, and then, it is what it is. We have a very simple game here. And now my opponent plays e6. And I'm kind of like, is he okay in the head? He's now sacrificing another pawn here, I guess with the hopes of recapturing, but it doesn't appear that he gets any development out of it, and he's just simply down a pawn to start the game. Not something you typically want to do, but hey, my opponent gives a free pawn. I say, okay, thank you for the exchange. I'll take a free pawn, and then we get g6, which is another just outrageous move, giving up another pawn on f7. And at this point, I'm like, all right, is this guy trolling? Is this guy, and I know you guys are thinking, why am I showing you this game? This guy's a 1700 rated player that doesn't know his opening pass, move 2. But it gets to some fun positions. So g6, this is completely losing. This is +4 for white. As we play pawn captures, and now he has to capture back with the king. So king f7, really the only move in that position. And now, okay, so your king's on f7, you're missing your f pawn. It seems like his king is wide open for the attack, and so, we try and go for it. First we go d3. The reason for d3 is to develop this dark square bishop. I could have played something like, bishop f4, given a check, but then he probably just would have gone back. And I guess it would have dragged, there was that was definitely a move in the position. d4 is actually like a lot more just opening up both of these bishops diagonals. However, d3, I'm like, okay, maybe this guy, because, at this point, I'm just playing the game. This guy might have this all theory, and there's some crazy trap here that I'm not aware of. So I'm like, okay, I'm up 2 pawns. I'm just going to develop normally and try and win the game here. We get knight f6, so a normal developing move. Knight f3, just bringing the knights out. Nothing too crazy here. Bishop c5, and now, okay, he has some good development here, but once again, his king's on f7, and, he doesn't really have a lot of protection here. So we go bishop g5, pitting the bishop to the queen, and, possibly, really tying this king here. If the queen decides to move, then this king is the only defender. You can probably pile up some pressure, with ideas of knight e5. Okay, knight bd7, providing some more protection to that knight. we simply move the bishop e2, preparing to castle. We get rook e8, pinning this bishop, and I say, okay, I'll castle anyways. This bishop's already double protected by the knight and the queen. I don't really have to worry about anything there, even though, it can't move. It's kind of not in the best position. We get c6, and knight e4. Knight e4, once again, putting more pressure on this knight. You can capture here and win a pawn. However, it's going to open up lines, and you really don't want to trade if you're white here, or if you're black here, because you're already down 2 pawns. We just trade and trade and trade. I'm going to win the endgame. So, however, this is exactly what he goes for. This is what the computer recommends, because they like material. And instead of capturing the pawn back, we go queen b6. Queen b6 is tying this pawn, or this rook to the pawn, having me defend it, essentially. So if I move the rook away, he's going to have the ability to capture. So, okay, there's some ideas there. And we just play bishop c4 check, getting this bishop on a nice diagonal. You see my bishops are somewhat, slicing away this king. And funny enough, if he were just to play king f8, that would be not quite made in one, but he would be in a lot of trouble. All right, king g7, kind of preventing that bishop h6 move from ever appearing on the board. And we get b3, just, strengthening my pawn structure here. Obviously, this pawn was under attack after that queen move, so I finally decided to defend it. Oh, and the reason he couldn't capture it earlier is because rook b1, we're bringing the rook into the attack. It's on his 7th file, his king's naked, so he would not want that. So, however, I decided it's time to finally defend the pawn here. And we get knight takes e4, capturing the pawn here. However, that allows queen takes d7. So, we capture the material back. And yeah, this is a lot of trouble for black. As you see, white is clearly winning here. And it should just take a few good moves. But if we get king h8, bishop h6 was a solid move, but then rook e7. And I'll be honest, I didn't really see a great way to continue this attack. There's not many checks. Even though this black king is completely unable to move, I didn't really find anything in the position that suited me. So we go rook d3. Computer doesn't like rook d3. Rook h3 was the idea here. Lining up with this pawn. With ideas of bringing the knight into the attack and things such as that. However, we go queen d3. Still a fine move. We're still winning this game. And now knight takes f2, which, as you see, there was a triple attack. So there was some problems in this position. There's really not much to do here other than to recapture. Queen c3 check was recommended. Trading off some pieces here, but it's okay. So I decided to sacrifice the exchange here. And even though this looks very scary, I am completely fine here. He's going to have some back threat or back rank ideas, but at the moment I am safe. And he goes rook d8. Rook d8, attacking my queen. Now, what do you do here? You should probably move the queen. However, like I said, I was watching those Paul Morphy videos. I'm like, wait a minute, I might have an idea. And we go bishop g5, sacking the queen. No real reason. Like, if you ask the computer, this is the dumbest thing you could ever do. But I was like, fuck it. I don't need this queen to win this game. I felt these 2 bishops right here eyeing down this king would be a strong enough position. And so we go for it, man. Obviously I didn't, I saw this rook attack the queen. I could have moved the queen and it would have been fine for me, but I just didn't like all this pressure. I'm like, I don't want to be the one getting attacked. You gotta be the one attacking. So, okay, best move on the board. He captures the queen. And instead of capturing the rook right away, I decided just to go bishop f6 check. So the only move left for him is rook g7. And now I capture the rook. Computer liked just go ahead and taking this rook for some reason. I wasn't a big fan of that. Obviously, I think this pen is very strong, as he has a lot of weaknesses here on this back rank. And if you're not careful, you'll lose this game with black. You are up a queen for, a bishop, I believe is the exchange here, but it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of danger in this position. You play a lazy move like c5, which my opponent does, and okay, we're starting to attack. Bishop e5. So obviously the move wasn't here just to move the pawn. Open up the attack on the bishop. We say okay. Plays bishop d4, and you cannot give up this bishop. This is the only reason that you're still in the game. So we go ahead and take with the knight, which computer says is a great move here because it's really the only move in the position that keeps white in the game. We get c takes d4, and now rook f1. The threat of rook f1 is very simple. This is mate. This is mate in 1, 100%. So if you don't stop this, you're cooked. All right? So you either gotta, sacrifice your queen here, the best move in the position is b4, queen b4, sorry, which stops the threat here. And, also, if I move my rook, I'm getting back mated now. So, there's a lot of threats in the position. This would keep the game winning for black. However, in this position, my opponent plays queen c5, which looks like the same move. Now you don't have the threat of back rank anymore, which allows for a very nice move. So I'll allow you guys to pause the video here and find the winning idea for white. There is one move that wins the game instantly. All right, so after we have this, the winning move in this position is rook f7. Rook f7 is a great move because your bishop right here is on pre. You can take this bishop, but it does not matter because if you take that bishop, it's going to, well, we'll show what happens because that's what the opponent does. However, what do you play here if you're white? The threat is to capture with the rook, and then whatever you play next, we're going to go rook g6, checkmate. So if you decide to, there's really not much of an idea. The only way to not get mated, and I was looking at this, this is a computer line here. It still doesn't win you the game. You're still completely losing. But you have a move b5 here. And now after rook captures, I believe the move is queen captures, rook check. Okay, sorry, that's checkmate. No, you can't capture the queen. All right, there is a line here. Oh, yeah. Bishop, you capture the bishop, and now this is not, no, that's still mate. No, this is not mate anymore because the queen is targeting the bishop. So the best move to play in this position, I think, is, bishop f6. If you find bishop f6 right here, you're a maniac, because now the queen doesn't really have any moves, and, you can try to threaten right now. So anywhere you move to threaten this bishop, rook g6 would win the queen, because you'd have to capture it, defends the bishop now. And so white's winning this game. You're up a rook and a pawn's in game. This is winning. So go back. Another move you could have played here instead of rook f7 that would have put you in a better position is just bishop captures. But I believe this is just a drawn in game. But let's see. I mean, obviously your threat's going to be rook f7 check. I mean, even here, this is not necessarily great. It's not necessarily great. So, I mean, the only move to play was this rook f7. So if you found rook f7, you are a great chess player. And now you might ask what happens. Okay, what happens if queen takes the free bishop? Which is what happened in the game. And now this is checkmate in 2. Simply rook f8. The only move here is the block with the rook, which is what happens. And now rook captures for the beautiful checkmate. This king is smothered. He has nowhere to go. And even though there's a queen on the board, he is not active in the defense of this g8 square. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the game. I was kind of rambling there at the end a little bit with all the moves, but hopefully you see why I chose to show off this game, because even though there were some blunders and some very lackadaisical openings by my opponent, we were able to get the job done. Had a lot of fun sacrifices, threw the queen out of the way, and yeah, that was the game. So if you guys like it, go ahead and subscribe, like the video. There will be chess content about every Sunday, so check in for that. And without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.